Hey guys, it's Haley and welcome to another bookish video. So today, you read the title, you know I'm going to be showing you a tour of my bookshelves. I live in a really tiny apartment and I have a lot of books, but I've finally gotten them to the point where I like my setup and I feel like they're all organized and how I like them. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I have them set up, and hopefully this could help you if you live in a small apartment too. If you live in a city, you know the struggle of moving with boxes and boxes and boxes of books and having no idea where to put them. So without further ado, let's get into the tour. So this is when you first come into my bedroom. You guys see the bed and those little pictures in the background of my videos all the time. Here is my little desk area. That's where the dogs sleep. And then the first bookshelf I have is right here below my picture wall. I've painted all these, by the way, except for the boba and mochi. My friend Bailey actually painted those for me during quarantine. So sweet. But anyway, this is the first bookish thing you see in my apartment. Let me go ahead and turn it on for you so you can see the full effect. So here is my TBR cart. So this is a new addition to my book storage situation. And I think it's gonna force me to get through more books that I've had sitting on my TBR for a while. So I'll take you through it. These books that you see here stacked in the front on this shelf and this shelf are my most anticipated reads. So these are ones that I'm gonna know that I wanna pick up in the next couple months. So they're just really easy access right there. And then in the front here at the bottom, these front books are blocking some other highly anticipated reads back there because I'm not letting myself get to any of those before I read these. These are the ones that have been on my TBR, my physical TBR, for the longest time. So I'm making myself read them before I get to the ones behind. So let me go ahead and take away these front books so I can show you what's actually on my TBR. Obviously, if you guys want to see some of my most anticipated, the Midnight Library, the Sundown Motel, and the Dating Plan, I think I'm going to get to these this month. As well as over here, some of my most anticipated, The Girl from Widow Hills, Never Let You Go, and Two Truths and a Lie. This is going to be my first springtime book. So now up here, so this is kind of a weird shelf. It's kind of the catch-all random shelf. So I have my one and only fantasy book, The Night Circus. I have 2 memoirs, 3 other nonfiction, contemporary, romance, YA contemporary, and vintage mystery because she wouldn't fit in the section that she actually belongs in. So this is kind of like the hodgepodge shelf. I have it right on top so I don't forget about any of them because these are the books that I'm liable to forget about. So moving on to this second shelf here. These are all for videos. So everything you see up to The Secret History right here, these are all things that I have in mind for videos, and I don't want them on the rest of my TBR because I don't want to read them before the video is obviously done. And then here we have some classics all the way up to here. I have some humor and 2 historical fiction. So this is organized in a way that makes a lot of sense in my mind, even though it seems like it's kind of disjointed on the surface. And then I took away the most anticipated that I had in front, so I'll just go ahead and show you those now. I recently hauled all of these. First up, I have The Swap by Robin Harding, Invisible Monsters by Chuck Palahniuk, The House on Trad Street by Karen White. By the way, both of these recommendations I ran out and bought at the same time right after I finished watching Caroline Johnson's, one of her most recent videos where she recommended these. I just had to have them. And then The Last Widow by Karen Slaughter, as well as The Nesting and another Karen Slaughter because everyone knows I'm a slave for Karen Slaughter. So this last layer down here is all thrillers. It's completely stacked to the top with thrillers. But these ones, like I said, in front are the ones that have been on my TBR for the longest. So I'm trying to force myself to read them. And I'm not letting myself, you know, dig past them yet. And then here are some of the newer additions to my physical thriller TBR. As you can see, I have a lot. So now if we go directly to the left of my TBR cart, I have my first actual bookshelf. So this one is more exciting, and I'll go ahead and get into it, starting with the bottom shelf. This is the system that I'm probably most proud of. So this bottom shelf is reserved for books that I have read or will read this month. It is currently January 3rd. The only book I have finished in January is Una Out of Order. By the way, loved it, gave it 5 stars. And all of these are books that I have planned out in my January TBR. So they get to stand up, and when they're finished, they lay down and I stack them upwards so I can constantly keep track of what I have left on my TBR. And then I can obviously take the stack once it's all full and fill my wrap up with it. The shelf above is all my paperback thrillers. So this is all of them. We've got some good faves in there. Oh, also I have these random book of the month pins I didn't know what to do with, so I just set them there. They're usually not there, but there she is. The next shelf above, I have all of my hardback contemporaries, and then these random 3 books that all coordinate and go together. So I wanted to put them together, but they didn't really fit in any place that made sense other than right here. So I have all my hardback contemporaries and those 3 random Hendricks and Pekkanen thrillers. On the shelf above, I have all of my paperback contemporaries and then all of my historical fictions right here. So if it's standing up, it's a contemporary, obviously it's a paperback, and then every single historical fiction that I still own, I have right here. And on my favorite shelf of all, my top shelf, this is all of my Lisa Jewell books. Obviously, if you don't know, Lisa Jewell is my favorite author probably ever. I love her books so much. Every single one of these books has gotten 4 or 5 stars from me, even the ones that I didn't enjoy the most, where it's like a favorite of all time. I'm just so entertained and enthralled by her books. So that is this bookshelf. The top shelf is definitely my favorite, but I love them all in their own ways. So now I will take you out of my bedroom here. We'll go into my living room. So this is my living room, and here is another one of my bookshelves. So we'll just start at the top here. I have all of my Agatha Christie's that I have read lined up right here. And then obviously the To All the Boys series is right here with a little candle on top. And then these are all of my, it was supposed to be a horror section, but it's really just most of my horror and then other books that fit in with horror. Like this one's a true crime and that one's a thriller, but they all just look so nice together that I just had to put them there. So there's the top shelf, Agatha Christie, horror, and a random series. On the second shelf, I just have pictures. I saved one rose petal from every bouquet of roses that Cameron has got me over the years. And then this is the first bouquet of roses that he ever got me on our 1-month anniversary. If you don't know, we've been dating for 4 years now. So there's been a lot of flowers over the years. And then down below here, this is another shelf that I absolutely love. It's all of the books that I have gotten and kept from Book of the Month that don't fit into another shelf category. So here are all my book of the months right here and right here. The ones stacked right here, I tried to put in like some sort of order. Obviously, Lock Every Door goes with these two Riley Sager books. And then we have The Shadows and the Whisper Man right by each other, and then all of Catherine Center's right here. Also, the reason why this random Josie Silver is here is because I used to have her other book stacked on top of it, but I just recently unhauled it, so goodbye. And then below here, we have my YA shelf. So this is every YA book that I have, and I unhaul a lot of YA, so these are like the top best of the best YA books that I still want around on my shelves. And then that's this entire shelf. Now let's go across the living room here. And this is my final bookshelf. This bottom shelf here is for games and photo albums. So obviously there's no books there. But I'll just go ahead and start on the bottommost shelf that actually has books. Wow, I really should have dusted off all of the dog hair before I filmed this video, but just go ahead and ignore that. These are all of my paperback romances. So pretty simple, easy theme. All the paperback romances are right there. The shelf above, I have all of my hardback thrillers, plus The Good Daughter, because I wanted her to be near Pretty Girls. I think I'm eventually going to work my way up to having an entire Karen Slaughter shelf once I read more of her backlist. But for now, these are the hardback thrillers plus a random Karen Slaughter. On the shelf above here, Cameron got me these little love blocks, I think at our 6-month anniversary, so they're just so cute and nostalgic, so I just keep them here on the shelf. They might have to be placed somewhere else in our apartment if I need this shelf space for more books, which I have a feeling I might, but for now, we'll keep her. And then this final top shelf here is for all of my nonfiction and classics. Some of these, like The Shack, The Help, Perks of Being a Wallflower, these are not traditional classics, but in my mind, they're modern classics, so I put them with the classics. And then right here, I have my poetry. I have Milk and Vine, which is of course making fun of Milk and Honey, but I really did enjoy Milk.
Oh God, oh God, things are falling.
But I actually really did enjoy Milk and Honey at one time, so I kept her. And then obviously I had The Sun and Her Flowers, along with Wild Embers and Dropkick Romance. And then I have a couple true crime books and all of my nonfiction right here. So bada bing, bada boom, there is my last shelf. I'm so glad I finally have a storage like system and setup for storing my books that I actually enjoy and I feel like is accessible. I tried to do it based on genre, but also the type of book, so hardback versus paperback, just because those are the types of categories that worked out for organizing my books. I hope you liked, getting a little tour of my shelves, and hopefully if you live in a small apartment, this helped you maybe get a few ideas of how you can squeeze some more bookshelves into your apartment. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Go ahead and like it if you liked hanging out with me, because I always like hanging out with you, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.